and their wealth in exchange for paradise. Indeed, Allah has purchased from the believers their lives and their wealth in exchange for paradise. Yes, it is a beautiful verse. If you want to understand how profitable this trade is, how honorable a rank it is to sell yourself and your property to God, to become His servant and His soldier, then listen to this little story. When we say selling yourself and property to God, what does that mean? Self refers to the soul, the body, the senses, and all the intricate devices within our spirit that God has given us. Property is everything else: your house, your car, your land. Selling these means acknowledging God as the true owner. It means accepting that He has the final say and managing these things according to His commands. So, if you want to understand the profit and honor in this, listen to this parable. Once upon a time, a king gave two of his subjects a farm each, but he gave it to them as a trust, a loan, because he planned to take it back later. These weren't empty fields, they were fully stocked with factories, machinery, horses, and weapons. However, it was a turbulent time of war. Nothing was stable. There was a constant risk of destruction or change. Things could easily be ruined or lost in the chaos. Seeing this, the king, out of his perfect mercy, sent a noble aide to those two soldiers with a decree. The message was kind and generous. Sell the property you hold in trust back to me. I will keep it safe for you so it doesn't go to waste for nothing. Once the war is over, I will return it to you in even better condition. And even though it is actually my property, I will pay you a huge price for it as if it were yours. Furthermore, these machines and factories will be run in my name and in my workshop. This will increase their value and output from 1 to 1,000. I will give all that profit to you. The offer continued. You are poor and weak. You cannot afford the heavy costs of running these massive operations. I will handle all the expenses and provide all the supplies. You keep all the income and benefits, and I will let you keep using the property until your service is over. Look at that. It is 5 levels of profit within profit. If you don't sell to me, the decree warned, you can see for yourself that no one is able to hold on to what they have. It will slip through your fingers just like everyone else's. You will lose it for nothing and miss out on that high price. Those delicate, valuable, high tech instruments will lose all their worth because they won't have the right materials or work to do. You'll be left with the trouble and burden of trying to manage and protect them, a job you can't handle. And on top of that, you will be punished for betraying the trust I gave you. That is 5 levels of loss within loss. But, the king added, if you sell to me, you become my soldier. You act in my name. Instead of being a common prisoner or a chaotic rebel, you become a special, free, high ranking officer of the king. After hearing this gracious offer, the smart one of the two men said, at your service, I sell it with pride and 1,000 thanks. The other man, however, was arrogant. His ego was inflated like a pharaoh. He was selfish and drunk on life. He acted as if he would stay on that farm forever, completely oblivious to the earthquakes and turmoil of the world. He said, no, who is this king? I won't sell my property. I won't spoil my comfort. Some time passed. The first man rose to such a high rank that everyone envied his position. He lived happily in the king's private palace, enjoying the king's favor. The second man fell into such a wretched state that everyone both pitied him and said he deserved it. Because of his mistake, he lost his happiness and his property, and he ended up suffering punishment and misery. Now, O my soul, full of whims and desires, look at the face of reality through the telescope of this story. The king in the story is your Lord, your creator, the ruler of eternity. Those farms, machines, and tools, they are your life, your body, your spirit, and your heart. They are your senses, your eyes, tongue, mind, and imagination. The noble aid is the Prophet. The decree is the Quran, which announces this magnificent trade with the verse, Indeed, Allah has purchased from the believers their lives and their wealth. And that chaotic battlefield, that is this stormy world, it spins, changes, breaks down, and passes away. It makes every thoughtful person worry. Since everything will slip from my hands and vanish, is there a way to turn it into something eternal? While thinking this, the heavenly voice of the Quran is heard. Yes, there is a beautiful and easy way, a way with 5 levels of profit. What is the way? To sell the trust back to its true owner. First profit. The temporary becomes eternal. The life you spend for God yields everlasting fruits. The minutes of your life might seem to rot away like seeds in the ground, but in the afterlife, they bloom into flowers of happiness. The second prophet, the price is paradise. The third prophet, the value of every limb and sense skyrockets from 1 to 1,000. Take the mind, for instance. If you don't sell it to God and use it for your ego, it becomes a tormenting tool that plagues you with sorrows of the past and fears of the future. That's why sinners often flee to drunkenness or distraction to escape the mind's harassment. But if sold to God, the mind becomes a master key, unlocking the infinite treasures of the universe's compassion and wisdom. Or take the eye. Used for the ego, it's just a lowly servant chasing after temporary lusts. But sold to God, it becomes a reader of the great book of the universe, a witness to divine miracles, like a bee gathering nectar from the flowers of God's mercy. Take the tongue. If not sold to God, it's just a gatekeeper for the stomach. But if sold to the provider, it becomes a grateful inspector of divine kitchens. The fourth prophet. Humans are weak and needy. Life's burden is heavy. If you don't trust in God, that burden crushes you. Constant regret and pain will turn you into a beast or a drunkard, but trusting God lifts that weight. The fifth prophet. The worship performed by these organs and their high value will be returned to you as the fruits of paradise right when you need them most. If you don't make this trade, you fall into 5 levels of loss. 1. You lose your youth, your life, and everything you love, and you are left with the burden of sins and pain. 2. You are punished for betraying the trust. 3. You drag your humanity down below the level of animals. 4. You are crushed under the heavy load of life, constantly crying out in pain from separation and death. 5. You turn the very gifts meant to open the gates of eternal happiness, like the mind and heart, into tools that open the gates of hell. So, is this trade difficult? Is that why people run away from it? No, absolutely not. It is not heavy at all. Why? Because the circle of what is lawful, halal, is wide. It is more than enough for your enjoyment. There is no need to enter the forbidden. God's obligations are light and few. Being a soldier and servant of God is an honor so sweet it cannot be described. Your only duty is to act like a soldier. Act in God's name, start in God's name, give and take in God's name, and move within the circle of His permission and laws. Find peace. If you slip up and commit a fault, ask for forgiveness. Say, O Lord, forgive our faults, accept us as your servants, and keep us safe in your trust until the time comes for you to take it back. Amen.